Fish Unfiltered, episode 77, a couple days away from the Major League Baseball draft. Also, a couple weeks out from the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And the Marlins are playing good baseball. It was a rough last two games, but aside from that, they've been playing pretty well. I mean, great month of June. July's off to a pretty good start. Here with my friend and co-host Azout, founder of Fish on First, Ely Sussman as well. Isaac, how we doing? I know you're in your flu game, but you're gonna hopefully come through and finish this one here.
Yeah, not so much the flu, just a little bit under the weather, but happy to be doing this. Marlins concluded their 4-game set with Cincinnati, a frustrating series in the sense that they had the 2 wins secured the first 2 games. The offense looked to be carrying over, and then all of a sudden they face a couple of left-handed pitchers, and it turns into a really abysmal offense. All of a sudden, it's frustrating because the 2 main offseason upgrades you were hoping for is Cal Quantrill and Sandy Alcantara coming back from TJ, and both of those guys were not able to keep their team in it. We'll discuss it all, I'm sure, in this episode.
Well, we can start with Sandy, who struggled again, 6 earned against the Reds. I think it's fair to say it, Eli, your bold prediction may come true. I don't think the Marlins are trading Sandy Alcantara come July 31st.
I don't think so either. I am also feeling confident about that prediction at this point, where there was that glimpse of hope through the first few starts of June where he was at least making quality starts. Even then, I was the pump the brakes guy, just pointing out the quality of competition that he was facing. So really, all of his best performances this year are against some of the few teams that are worse than the Marlins, and he took care of business on that front. I still was not seeing the upside there, and unfortunately, not even seeing any sort of consistency, even stemming from that. Now they just faced some slightly tougher competition, and it was a combination of things where early in the year was more about not finding the strike zone, and then more recently it's just about getting hit hard in the zone, and in a way that he doesn't have a solution for right now. It varies from start to start, and there's just been more bad than good. As our colleague Louis Adio Weiss points out, he's been extremely unlucky. He really has. He's not the worst starting pitcher in baseball, like his ERA would suggest. The reality is that underlying numbers are more encouraging, but he's not helping himself out. He's still terrible at holding on base runners in a way that I think is leading to him underachieving, where when guys get on, it snowballs on him in that way, where he doesn't have the swing and miss to kind of pitch around that quite as much as he did a few years ago. So yeah, to me, that's still weighing pretty heavily on my mind when I look back at this first half. A lot of guys doing better than we thought, but the way that Sandy, despite his very impressive track record prior to undergoing Tommy John, he's so far away from even the most pessimistic predictions from what we thought his 2025 season would look like.
Yeah, he has a 7.2 ERA, 4.59 FIP, striking out less guys, walking a lot more guys. The ground ball rate plummeted from what he did in 22. But other guy I want to talk about, and you covered this game, Isaac, it was Cal Quantrill. They left him in for the 6, but wasn't able to get it out. 7 hits, 6 runs. 5 of them were earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, gave up a home run as well. Just a guy who seemed to finally be stringing together a couple good starts, despite them not being long starts. Unfortunately, looks like it just didn't go well for him, and it shows that maybe Cal Quantrill just is a 5 and dive type of pitcher that can only give you 5, and that's it.
It would have been indefensible to not let him get the 6 in that situation. He was pitching, like I wrote in a story for Fish on First. He was pitching some of the best baseball he has all season. He had retired 11 straight Cincinnati Reds at a really tough hitter-friendly ballpark. And he was at, I believe, 62 pitches heading into that 6th inning. So, he was always going to go out there for the 6th. But like you said, Kevin, 3rd time through the order, it almost became a whole different ballgame. I'm not sure he wasn't able to record an out. And it was tough. There's also a bunch of mental mistakes on his part, which is sort of what cost them the game in that 6th inning with the bases loaded and Ellie De La Cruz a single to right. He's not backing up home plate. Allows another runner to score. Allows both base runners to advance into scoring position. Obviously, everyone came around to score eventually. It's not what they had in mind. This guy has not completed 6 innings since July 24th of last season as a member of the Colorado Rockies. So it's been tough. He has provided them with some sort of quality innings at times, but for the most part, he's just not been able to go deep into games at all. And I'm sure it's been tough on that bullpen and tough on manager Clayton McCullough.
And I'll stay with you with Sandy. once thought this guy could really garner a blue chip prospect. Probably not the case anymore, if I had to say. And I don't know, where do you think they stand with Sandy? Where do you stand with Sandy at this point? Like, maybe a couple starts may change the story, but even then, I don't think it would be enough to get the value that they want for someone like Sandy. And if they do trade him, you would have to eat all the money.
Well, he's not dying, right? As McCullough said,
That was really bad.
He is alive. He's healthy, which is another good thing. He's allowed 15 earned runs more than he had all of 2022 already, and it is not even the All-Star break. It's tough to watch. He did have that nice 4-start stretch that ended with Atlanta, a quality start there. But since then, he's given up 18 earned runs in his last 3 outings. I'm with you guys. You can't trade him at this point. You would be selling incredibly low. It's not what you want to do. You have to hold on to him for at least the second half, and then you revisit talks in the offseason, because if you were to trade him now, what competitive ball club is going to trust Sandy right now in any meaningful regular season game, much less postseason game? So I don't see that happening. Luckily, he does have 2 years of club control, $17 million next year, as well as a club option for 2027. I do think there will be a lot of teams that are going to bank on him bouncing back after a nice, full, healthy offseason, coming into spring training fully healthy. I think that's what we're going to have to expect.
Yeah. And I think I'm like curious because like you said it, like, and I think there was a tweet that said it well, like, no team will want Sandy Alcantara pitching every 5th day. Like, he's been a liability. They lost that game because of Sandy. There's no other way to say it. Now, credit to, I think it was Lodolo, like, he was great, but Sandy just straight up blew it right at the start. Now, and whoever wants to do you put him on the IL, like a Phantom IL stunt, let him rest this out? Because clearly not going to get the value you want. Teams are probably going to be trying to lowball the Marlins and have the Marlins eat most of the money, which wouldn't be terrible either because of the payroll, and then obviously next year with the grievance. But Eli, like, Phantom IL stint with Sandy, clearly you just can't sit him down. Like, that wouldn't look great, but feels like he's the type of guy right now that's clearly a liability in this pitching staff. And there's guys in AAA that are doing pretty well and could help this ball club right now and at least keep pace with could be a decent finish to the season.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't think that's top of mind for them about trying to win every possible game. And Sandy, you're the weakest link right now. I think it's more so the All-Star break comes, I wouldn't say it comes at a convenient time. That kind of kept him in this rotation spot all the way until the All-Star break. And now this basically can serve as a Phantom IL stint. They could give him, if they want to, close to 2 weeks between starts, depending on how they line things up coming out of the break. So if it was needing more time in order to work through some things mechanically, I've heard some people speculate that he may be tipping pitches at a higher frequency when he's pitching out of the stretch. I haven't noticed anything in particular, but just, the confident swings that hitters are taking against him, and this pattern we're seeing where these hits get clustered together in a way, maybe there is something to that, where you just need a couple extra pitch design sessions, as the Marlins call them, instead of bullpen sessions, to like iron that out and come to some sort of solution. So I don't think you'll see him go on the IL, even though they do have alternatives. Yeah, it's a much different story if this team is firmly contending. I pointed to this last Red series. It was an absolute must win if you wanted to keep that delusion alive about them staying in the race, but it's just so much ground to make up against a lot of teams, and they've been playing their best baseball just to get this close. I don't think it's realistic to expect them to continue playing dominant baseball for the foreseeable future. They're going to regress in some aspects of it in a way that they're just going to do what's best for Sandy. And if they don't think that he needs an extended time off, then he doesn't. Again, I'm interested to see how the rotation lines up coming out of the break, because I would speculate maybe he gets pushed towards the end of the rotation coming out of the break, and they give him those few extra days to try to come to some solution that he feels better about. The thing is, he just looks so healthy. He has not even left to start due to any injury concerns at any point this year. I wrote about that kind of briefly on the site on Official News about just how the health aspect has not been a question whatsoever during this first half of the season. And that's what makes the production so sad, is because he looks healthy and he's been able to stay in games without even so much as a scare about something going wrong. It's just been about those really bad results with him. So we'll see how it goes. the rest of this year. But it's just really unfortunate the way that this is kind of overshadowed, in my opinion, a lot of the positive developments that have come from the rest of the roster.
Well, I want to keep it negative because I do want to talk about Connor Norby, who I know he hit the home run in Cincinnati. I think he hit 2 home runs in Cincinnati, but still, like, overall, just struggling this season. 81 WRC plus, striking out 27% of the time. I feel like this is another guy who could really use like an option to AAA, and I don't know if they have the options for him, but like, yeah, they have 2 of them. They could option him, let him fix it up, and obviously, like, it's not even offensively anymore; it's defensively too at third base. It's not good at all, and it's unfortunate because this is a guy who came up last year, looked awesome when he debuted with the Marlins, was the main piece of the Trevor Rogers trade, who the Marlins faced on Saturday. Isaac, like, what do you do with Connor Norby? What are you seeing with Connor Norby? And it's fair to say, Graham Pauley's been raking in AAA since he went down there. It's like a 120 WRC plus. He's been awesome, bringing a lefty bat into the lineup. He could play every day this time around if you do send down Norby. But what would you do there? I mean, this is a guy clearly who needs some sort of reset, needs to work things out some way, somehow on the major league level. It's clearly not working. In
terms of confidence boosting, I mean, if he does go down there and hit the way we know he can, and he probably would at AAA, again, it's a very hitter-friendly environment all over the minors. I loved Eli's tweet. I think it was Jacob Amaya's. That's in AAA and the major leagues, and how big of a gap it is in talent between AAA and Major League Baseball. With Connor, is that what's concerning is that even when the Marlins started this hot streak, which is on June 20th, roughly when they took 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, he's played almost every single day, and he's probably the weakest link of this lineup. He's OPSing in the low 600s. He is not walking whatsoever, and he's striking out almost 50% of the time in this really rough stretch of his. I don't know if the Marlins would want to do that for marketing reasons, send him down to AAA. Because this was Xavier Edwards. Those were the 2 main guys that they had at Media Day, and these guys are marketing the most. So I'm not sure if they're willing to do that. I don't know what better option they would have currently at third base. You mentioned Graham Pauley, but I think we know what he is. I think the Marlins know what he is. Maybe you'd get slight improvement defensively, but I think you let Connor ride it out, see what happens. But it's been a little bit disappointing. We saw with the underlying metrics last season that he may be due for some regression going into this year. I still expected him to hit in the 260s and have at least 15 home runs by now, or at least, finish with 20, 25. But he's on pace for, what is it? He's probably on pace for low teens. So it's a tough one. I think I would keep him up for the rest of the year unless he really hits another really tough stretch out of the break. I'll let you guys guess. How many walks does Connor Norby have since that first game against the Braves where they really started playing well?
Oh, so you just mean like the last 3-ish weeks or so?
Yeah. 30 from where Isaac started,
June 20th.
I would say 1 walk in 3 weeks.
No, now you're being a little mean to Connor Norby. He has 4 walks.
That's crazy.
That's still really bad.
Right. That's part of the profile.
Against 18 strikeouts.
So. Yeah, to me, the big question is the power, because that was what last year was carrying him a lot in that second half. The reason why he was productive overall player, and frankly, a guy that was a nice, pleasant surprise down the stretch. And that the power hasn't been as consistent this year, although we've actually seen some of it lately during this period. There was an opposite field home run at Lone Depot, and then more recently during that Red series, he snuck it over. That he really was a merchant of their very friendly conditions in his most recent homer. He'll need to do that more consistently, but to me, I'm kind of the same mindset. I don't see the urgency, even though he has been less productive than most of his teammates this year. And it hasn't, to me, been something that I see as a crisis. It's just been, another little disappointing thing. I think Graham Pauley really needed his time down in AAA. He's in the right spot, and it's great to see him getting back on track and put himself in. He could be in their team's plans by the end of the year or by next year, but I don't think there's an urgency to that unless things go really south with Norby. I'm going to still be patient with him, at least for the foreseeable future.
Fish on First has partnered with About the Fans to launch a merchandise collection. Rep the FOF logo and more Marlins-inspired apparel. Find it all at aboutthefans.com. Enter coupon code FOF10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. FOF10. 10 for a 10% discount.
Alrighty, before we go to the draft stuff, because we'll leave that for the end, let's do our mid-season awards. So we're going to do MVP, Cy Young, Rookie, and Newcomer. So obviously Rookie and Newcomer kind of, well, this team goes hand in hand. A lot of the rookies are newcomers, but you can just choose the way you want. And I think all of us have the same MVP maybe, and it's the guy on the photo, at least for me, it's Kyle Stowers. He's been awesome. Has really walked it off for the Marlins. Like, first day, went out there, walk-off hit, walk-off grand slam. He's a team's all-star. He's been great, aside from maybe one stretch of the season that wasn't great. Like, it's been great to see this guy really make the right adjustments. He's pounding the ball to the ground a lot less. He's striking out a lot less. It's a career low strikeout for Stowers. He's moving the ball everywhere around the field. It's defensively still a lot to wish, but I think overall he's been awesome, and he's definitely the team MVP. So we'll go Isaac and then Eli.
My team MVP is not the guy pictured. My team MVP is the one who's changed positions in the middle of the year to be the everyday shortstop, Otto Lopez. He leads the team in B. He leads the team in B WAR. He's second on the team to Kyle Stowers in F WAR. He has just played phenomenal defense, both positions up the middle. And what he's done with the bat, he's a league average bat. He's a slightly above average league average bat. I believe he's 105 WRC plus. Is more than you could have ever asked for when Miami acquired him, when he was designated for assignment. Otto Lopez has actually performed well enough to put himself in the conversation to be the everyday shortstop next season and the year after that, because he, Kevin, as well as anyone, going down the farm system, an everyday impact shortstop, Marlins don't really have that imminently or knocking on the door right now. So Otto Lopez, for me, I'm not sure where the Marlins are without this player. I think the Marlins are 20 games below 500 and are in a significantly worse situation than if they didn't have. So Otto Lopez, MVP first half.
Otto was the other name that came to mind for me when I was thinking about it. I started with the default being Kyle Stowers for understandable reasons. Though I did let my mind drift to Otto for the reasons that Isaac stated. You can't overstate how important it is to get not just steady shortstop defense, but plus defense from that guy. It continues to be a miracle that the Marlins got him as a waiver claim, because ever since he's just been a really additive all-around player. Ultimately, there's just a big enough gap with the bat between Stowers and Otto that I did go with Stowers here in my regard. I feel more confident in Otto moving forward being a consistently above average regular. With Stowers, I still have those underlying concerns. Ultimately, if we're just giving awards based on what they've achieved so far, to me, it's fairly clear cut that it should be Stowers based on the timing of his hits, but yeah, just the raw volume of production to slug and get on base the way that he's been able to do overall in order to put himself right in line with some of the better outfielders in the National League has been awesome. It's been shocking just relative to the expectations we had entering the year. So I'm excited to see if he can keep it up, because that would continue to astound me if he's able to maintain that. But what he's done so far, there's really no way to knock it. He's been awesome, and he is deservedly kind of fixed in the middle of their lineup, at least against right-handed pitching. So yeah, the only thing is that I think even the team itself isn't totally bought in. He's been sitting quite a bit against lefties, despite having good results against them so far this season. That might be the last step in him really solidifying himself, is proving to his own front office and his own coaching staff that he can be just as productive against lefties and righties.
Who was the last one to hit 30 homers in a full season in a Marlins uniform? Because obviously Berger came here and reached 30, but he had hit 29 of them already. Is it Stanton?
No, it'd be Soler in his All-Star season.
Soler, yeah. Okay. Well, that's 2023, so it's been not that long. So, and Otto was a great pick. I mean, what he's done defensively.
Now, to be fair, prior to Soler, there was a very long drought. Then you'd have to go all the way back to Stanton and Ozuna before him.
It was a quietly great year for Soler.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just
Lopez.
Sorry, Kevin. Just add a little bit on Otto. Just from last year, he had obviously 100 more at bats than he has right now. He already has 3 more home runs than he had. He's walking 9% of the time. He's striking out barely 12% of the time. It's just such a special offensive talent to go along with the elite Gold Glove caliber defense. I'm with Eli that I think he's such a safe pick to be an everyday contributor for any major league team going forward.
A lot of people have to remember they literally took this guy, got this guy for like waivers, like nothing. They traded nothing. Like it was like he had been let go by Toronto, got let go by San Fran, but it's such short time. Like it's already 2 outs above average at short. He had 6 at second base. I'm sure he would have won a Gold Glove at second base if he would have stuck there full season. But that's now next year could be the Gold Glove year for Otto at short. But Cy Young, I gotta think this one we all have the same one hopefully. But I'm gonna go with Cabrera. We already spoke about him enough. The way he's pitched is incredible. He has yet to walk over 4 guys, I think, in an outing. Last start for him, didn't walk anyone. Awesome to see against the Brewers. And man, this guy, I think Isaac said it best. Like we've been waiting for so long to say, to see this version of Edward, and it took a little longer than it should have, but finally got to see it. Hopefully, I guess if you're a Marlins fan, you would hope Cabrera sticks around for a very long time for the next 3 years in this uniform, in the Marlins uniform. But this guy is awesome. I don't think he'll get any Cy Young love, but he's been great. He's been great, and maybe the dark horse pick for next year is Cy Young. Who knows? But for now, he's definitely the first half Cy Young winner for this team. And yeah, I mean, there's maybe a couple other options, but overall, it's easily Cabby.
I agree. It'll be Edward Cabrera, but I'm going to give a different answer here. I think my team Cy Young is going to be none other than Ronnie Henriquez, the relief pitcher that Mr. Peter Bendix also grabbed off waivers. He leads all major league relievers in strikeouts, and he's doing this while being on pace to more than triple his career high innings pitched. His career high going into the season was 19 innings in the major leagues, and he's already thrown 44 innings for the Marlins this year. He has been used in all sorts of different ways by Clayton McCullough. He's been used in the second inning. He has been used as a closer. He has been used in multi-inning relief situations. And he is doing this while striking out 13 batters per 9 innings. His ERA sits very pretty at 2.66. He has really been able to avoid these rough, lengthened stretches where he's just not getting guys out. I think it was maybe 1-2 appearance stretch where he pitched a little bit poorly. But another situation where would the Marlins be without Ronnie Henriquez? This guy, they have him for 4 more years of control. He's also a dark horse, unlikely candidate to be dealt. But for me, this guy deserves a little bit of Team Cy Young love for that first half.
I'll go with Eddie for Team Cy Young here. Just the volume of innings that he's pitching is a lot bigger than Enriquez to this point, and the consistency now going back 2+ months is astounding. It's really important for this team where you have a couple spots in this rotation, as we touched on before, that are not providing length or quality in Sandy and Quantrill. And the reason why they've been able to be somewhat successful over these recent weeks, it started with the starting pitching, being able to go deep into games and prevent runs the way that Eddie's been able to do it. So that has set up everybody else for success in a way that I think is really meaningful. So just the adjustments that he's made really stand out, and you got to give it to him. Another one where you just didn't see it coming because he started the year with yet another injury. His first few starts off the IL were not good at all. And then since then, there just really has not been a single stinker in the bunch if you want to go back a dozen starts or so with Cabrera. So to me, it's a runaway with him taking advantage of some injuries. Ryan Weathers is somebody I think a lot of us felt very high on entering the season, but he's now had his own injuries, missing a lot more time than Cabrera did. And then it even looked at one point like Max Meyer had shown some big strides that he had made, and unfortunately those went away pretty quickly now due to his own injuries. I just want to also shout out Jansen Junk, as in a smaller sample, he's been amazing too. Another guy acquired for essentially nothing on a minor league free agent deal, made it to the big leagues pretty quickly in this season, and he looks like he's going to be sticking around for a while, mainly due to just how he very confidently attacks the strike zone.
Alrighty, let's do Newcomer. There's a lot of them, and Eli took my answer. I'm going with Jansen Junk. He's been awesome. He said it, got here, minor league free agent deal, was awesome during spring training. Unfortunately, I think it was a little back issue that really set him back and wasn't able to make the opening day roster. They went with Connor Gillespie. We know how that went. And Jansen Junk just throws strikes. Like he's attacking the zone nonstop. He's only walked, I think, 4 total hitters all season, and he walked 2 in the same game in his last start against Cincinnati. And he even noted like that wasn't his best stuff. That wasn't his best outing by no means, but he got through it and he gave the Marlins 6 innings, which is a career high or ties a career high for him. And he's just been great. And it's just attacking the zone, getting the Marlins, eating innings. And I think we noted it either on a live stream or somewhere like this is a guy that, who knows? They're having him start games. Like all of a sudden, maybe he's a trade target. I doubt it. I think he'll stick around for the remainder of the season, see what happens next year. But no, this has been great. Another guy who's just worked in long relief as well. He's been through it all this year. But yeah, that's my newcomer of the year. I think it's the right choice. There's a lot of options, but I got to save one for rookie of the year at the end. But Jansen Junk, newcomer of the year.
All right, newcomer, first year in the Marlins organization. I would have gone with Cade Gibson, so he is ineligible. My answer is, my answer is going to be Heriberto Hernandez. It is his first season in the Marlins organization.
What a choice!
He has really played incredibly well. He's been batting cleanup. He's been batting third. He's been batting second, and overall, he's got a 917 OPS in 28 games played. He's got 82 plate appearances. He's slugging 527. He's even got a few home runs to add in there while being able to play all right defensively. That's another guy that did not cost a lot to acquire. And he's someone that's mainly getting his at-bats against lefties. We know that, but he's done a great job, and that's my newcomer of the year.
I'll go with Ronnie for newcomer of the year on my end.
Yeah.
Waiver claim entering spring training. He still counts for this award. Not quite rookie eligible because of the experience he's had during his Twins tenure. But to me, he really stands out most of all because he's been part of the team throughout this entire season. Maybe 1 week in there that went pretty badly for him during one of their previous road trips in June. And then aside from that, it's just been dominance in a way that is a whole lot of fun. The fact that he has several different ways to get guys to swing and miss, and the Marlins have come around to using him in high leverage situations. His role was kind of uncertain early in the year where they were using him a lot, but sometimes in some unusual spots. And even now, he finds himself, there's not like a set inning. Sometimes he's closing games. Sometimes he's coming in the 4th inning. Sometimes, as we're speaking, his most recent appearance was down 6 runs in the 6th inning against the Reds. That was weird. So I still don't totally understand how the Marlins are using him. Credit to him for always staying ready and just being extremely productive when he is on the mound.
Alrighty, last one, rookie of the year. I'm going with Augustine. I think it's the right choice. No, many wanted him in the Derby. Wasn't going to happen. Many wanted him to be an all-star. Wasn't going to happen. But hey, he can still win rookie of the year, and he certainly has a shot. He's been great. He has a lot of power. Fortunately, defensively, it's been a rough go for him. Think if he really made the move to first or DH or full-time DH, I think his value offensively would certainly rise, and it would rise even more than it is at right now. But I think the most impressive thing with Augustine is just the hard contact that he makes. Every out is allowed out, no matter if it's a line out, if it's a ground out, whatever it may be, it's allowed out. I think there's still some things he needs to work on. The approach could be a little bit better. He's striking out. Actually, no, it's actually pretty impressive. 90%. It feels like a lot more. He's swinging a lot, I think is the best way to say it. Swinging at a lot of outside pitches. Wish he would just attack a little bit things, maybe make better swing decisions. But hey, and he doesn't walk a lot. I think that's another big issue. But overall, this has easily been the best get of the 2024 trade deadline for the Marlins. Got him in the Jazz Chisholm Jr. trade, who Jazz isn't a Derby, is an all-star. But yeah, no, this has been, so far it's looking like a win-win for both teams. Jazz has been a great player for the Yankees, despite the injuries, and Augustine came up here and looks like one of the best players on this team, and will probably finish top 2, top 3 in NL Rookie of the Year voting. So credit to him, credit to Peter Bendix for the get, and yeah, this is easily the Rookie of the Year or Rookie of the mid-season.
Yeah, the bat has definitely come as advertised. The positives, which is the elite power and the pretty decent bat to ball skills, as well as the negatives, which you mentioned, Kevin, the swing and miss a little bit, and the inability to catch very well, unfortunately. I would agree with you. He is my first half Rookie of the Year as well. But if I want to play devil's advocate, which we like to do here, Liam Hicks has a higher OPS. He has skipped AAA completely and has slid in and has proven to me anyway, maybe to you guys as well, he looks like one of the best pure hitters on the Marlins team. He has phenomenal at bats, even when he's facing the few rare times that he faces a lefty. He's staying in there and putting up great at bats against tough relievers. He's coming in to pinch hit late in games. He's starting and he's catching pretty well, playing a little bit of first base. Not the best first baseman, but he's performing very well behind the plate. And he has really turned into something that I didn't think this was possible, especially like I mentioned, Rule 5 pick, completely skipped AAA, going straight to the big leagues. And we thought maybe it would be difficult for Miami to hide him on this roster all year long in order not to give him back. But no, he has become one of their top 5 hitters easily on this team. So Liam Hicks, co-rookie of the year.
Well, before Eli goes, just remember Eric Wagman is a rookie, so you could go with him if you want.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that we're doing this segment because my brain has been hardwired to just think about the season-long rookie of the year race. And to me, Augustine pulled ahead of basically everybody in the National League relatively early on. And I think he's still going to have a very strong case just due to playing time and the power he's hitting with. The fact that the Marlins are investing so much playing time in him, that has even surpassed my expectations, but in a way that makes so much sense for him to be in the lineup almost every single day. Now, the majority of that is as a DH, and then he catches about twice a week on average, 2.5 times for now. And I think that makes just so much sense to use this developmental time, even if there's still flaws in his game to this point that have already been pointed out. This is exactly the way that you're supposed to be using a talent like this. And, hopefully he reaches his full potential. More likely it's going to be a few years down the road. The thing is, if you slice it into just looking at this, where we are to this season at this point, you can make a very compelling case that Liam Hicks has been better. The playing time has been a little bit less, but there was a brief stretch where he was their main catcher on the team when Fortes was dealing with an injury and right before Augustine got called up. So a lot of shout out to Hicks. I think you can make a case that Hicks is their midseason guy. I'm going to go with Augustine just on the volume of hitting production and the power that he provides. With Hicks, there's still not a ton of power. There is plenty of bat to ball and a lot of discipline in a way that I echo what Isaac said. It's been extremely impressive. You just do not see this happen with Rule 5 picks. I'll still lean towards Augustine, not worry too much about the WAR and the other advanced metrics, and just to me, he really stands out for the skills that he has, and it is really encouraging to see in both of their cases for them to make such a smooth transition to the big leagues offensively, because a lot of recent Marlins history has been the opposite when it comes to guys breaking through to the big leagues for the first time.
And a lot of people need to remember, the Marlins were close to trading Liam Hicks to the Rays that same day. Like seconds after they chose him, they're already working on a deal to send him to Tampa, and that deal fell through, and I think for the best, right? Because Liam Hicks has been, as Isaac said, I think one of the better hitters on this Marlins team and one of the better overall offensive rookies in baseball. So let's move on to the draft. We'll wrap it up here with that. Marlins, so it's a little different this year. I think it's the first 4 rounds of the draft happen on day 1, which is on Sunday, and then the rest of it happens beginning 11:30 on Monday. Marlins hold the 7th, 43rd, 46th, 78th, and 108 pick in the first day of the draft. Our guys, Hector and Sean, have been doing a phenomenal job covering the draft. Make sure to keep following them. Hector will be there for the second straight year representing Fish on First. At the moment, the mock draft that we did, or that they did, we didn't do anything. They have them selecting Eli Willits, a prep shortstop. He's the number 5 rated shortstop per MLB Pipeline. Yeah, the grades are 60 hit, 45 power, 60 run, 55 arm, 55 field, and an overall grade of a 60. I think that's a great guy to take. I think that would be my number 1 just from my selections so far. Obviously, Sean has Billy Carlson going over there, who's more of a defensive heavy shortstop, good hit tool, not as much power. I like Willits. I like JoJo Parker as well, although I don't think Parker will stick at short. But I think the pipe dream would be Willits falling to the Marlins. Then there's obviously a prep pitcher, Seth Hernandez, who would be also another phenomenal selection if he were to drop to the Marlins. But Eli, I think we spoke about best case and worst case. We've spoken about what the worst case could be, which would be the Marlins taking Ike Irish, which we know the Marlins have had some sort of interest in him. The Auburn catcher, first baseman, outfielder. I don't want
That
that.
would be absurd to get a
That would be
college catcher right now. That would be absurd.
It would. But Eli, where do you stand right now with what the Marlins should do? And just looking at last year too, we could quickly touch on that. Marlins go PJ Orlando. He's barely played. I don't think he's even reached 50 pro games. And then the other one, Carter Johnson. He's been horrible. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, he's fallen out of almost every single top 30 list, from many outlets, Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, Fangraphs. Like, he's fallen.
Pipeline. I don't think Pipeline kicked him out of his list.
No?
Pipeline,
Okay.
I'll have to double check. Pipeline
Well,
does the opposite.
the best, how do you say it? The best outlets at doing this, because obviously we have our stuff with Pipeline has their issues that they wait a long time to update it. But
yeah, Pipeline also, they have this bias towards recent draft picks in their rankings, where they give those guys a very long leash to prove themselves in the minors before really backing off. So I'll be curious to see where Pipeline still has Carter Johnson once they do their thorough update in a few weeks from now, because I think he'll be higher than you might expect just based on how recently he got his journey started. This draft is a lot different than last year, and I don't think last year's draft class gives us a great insight in terms of what the Marlins are thinking. They made a pivot to PJ Orlando, the way that things fell, and the guys that they were targeting college bats with their pick last year at number 16 overall, and the couple that they really had circled didn't quite get to them, so they had to pivot, and they ended up taking PJ under slot, using those savings on Carter Johnson, etc., in a way that you never really. It's unpredictable in a way that maybe this year they'll have to do the same sort of pivot. But as played out throughout mock draft season, there is that trio of shortstops that are expected to that could get to this range. And at least one of them seems likely to, whether it's Willits or Carlson or JoJo Parker, all three of these prep shortstops that have just a lot of the same strengths and really don't have any glaring weaknesses in their games. And that's the reason why they're projected here. And just to be clear, there are a couple players that we expect to be off limits to the Marlins that we think with a high degree of confidence are going to be off the board before them. Ethan Holiday being the main one, him and Cade Anderson, who had a huge spring. He's a college left-hander that I think he is the one with the highest degree of confidence that's probably going to be off the board. And there are couples that probably will be looking at the college ranks, like Ava Arquette and Liam Doyle. There's decent chances that they're gone. But aside, it is still sort of a nebulous process this year where there is you can make the case that from 1 to 10 that there isn't a huge change in talent level and upside between all the players that are available in that general range right here, which should lead to a more boring first round than we saw last year. It should be the Marlins take whoever they genuinely feel is the best available player, and should be somebody that roughly aligns with their slot value. I don't think this will be a year where they go under slot and try to maximize talent later on. This should be the way that this class aligns and how little separation there is between some of these available players, that they just trust their process, and whoever is the best on their board, it's more of a straightforward pick. So again, we don't know. It is very messy every single year. Between when you want to pick apart these shortstops, I think it's more likely, it seems, that Willits would be off the board than Carlson when it gets to this point. We'll find out as it goes along. So draft starts as usual. We'll be doing a big live stream as that first round pick is getting made, and I'm glad that they condensed it into 2 days instead of 3 this year. And as we've reviewed on the site, some mixed results from this previous draft class. Even though the top 2 guys, very little to say about what they've done so far in pro ball. Further down, it does seem like the Marlins got some decent value, especially with some of the college players they picked.
So, just from your little reaction there, Isaac, I get the feeling that you're not totally enamored with Billy Carlson.
No. I just, the one name that I have heard the team be linked to is Eli.
They love him, yeah.
Yeah, so from what I've heard from you, and I have talked to a bunch of people, Kevin, that seems to be best case scenario. I think even Hector Rodriguez mentioned that would be best case scenario. I think best case, slightly unrealistic, would be Seth, the prep pitcher. It looks like one of the craziest prep pitchers in a long time. But we shall see. I look forward to this every single year. It's one of the most exciting streams we have here.
Yeah. I hope we can actually celebrate the pick for once. The last 3 years, we've all been like...
Right. last year with PJ, we were all shocked and
Noble the year before that.
we were disappointed as well. Then the year before that, it was Noble Meyer, which, no disrespect to him, that's just not what we were expecting. Year before that, it was Jacob Berry, and you guys saw our reactions on that one. Year before that,
I think we expected Barry though.
yeah, I did hear that they were linked to Barry, but it's just that was
No, yeah, I mean, look what he's doing now. Yeah,
And we have to listen to our good friend Ian Smith. He warned us. It's like, oh boy, guys, he said you're not gonna like this one. But to Jacob Berry's credit, he has been playing a little bit better. While faking it defensively.
call-up contest.
I'm sorry.
Eli chose him in the call-up contest.
I mean, it's not out of the.
No, it's not.
Connor Morby does get sent down. Then you might see some Jacob Berry at
That
third
would be
base.
even
something
worse.
he did.
I'd rather have Connor Morby.
He can play any position. That's the beautiful thing about him. So an injury at any point on the roster, he's ready and willing to make that adjustment.
He could play left field. Maybe throw him in center.
He's playing some good second base. It's like when Jorge Posada played second base for the Yankees, like that one inning. It's sort of that's what it reminds me of.
Alrighty then. I think we'll wrap it up here. As Isaac said, draft stream. I think it's one of the best times for us. It's a good time always there. We go for about an hour-ish. And you'll get all our reactions because we're going from the start up until the Marlins pick, maybe a little after that. We'll have a good special guest for that one. Most of our staff is usually on for that. Hector will be obviously on that from Atlanta. So we'll wrap it up here. From Isaac, from Eli, and myself. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace out and go fish.